Hello there, and thanks for choosing RTV. I am Isabel Masoza, and we come to you live from our studios in Kigali, Rwanda. First, the headlines. Rwanda ranks number 4 among the countries globally prioritizing the preservation of endangered animals like gorillas. Also coming up, Masaka Hospital in Kigali City is set to upgrade occupation capacity to more than 800 patient beds. We're bringing you the latest from our studios in Kigali, Rwanda. I am Isabel Masozera. Thanks for keeping it RTV News. Now, before we begin this edition, let us inform you that the government of Rwanda has issued an announcement confirming that the Sukhoi 25 fighter jet from the DRC violated Rwandan airspace along Lake Kivu in the western part of Rwanda. That was on Wednesday around midday, and then immediately returned to the DRC. Rwandan authorities have once again protested to the DRC government against the violations of Rwandan airspace by DRC fighter jets. This latest incident is one of a series of provocations, including similar airspace violation that occurred last month when a DRC fighter jet of the same type briefly touched down at Rubavu Airport before flying back to the DRC. Now, the Rwandan government has again pointed out that these repeated violations are against the spirit of Rwanda and Nairobi peace initiatives. The announcement noted that the authorities in the DRC seem to be emboldened by the consistent cuddling of some of the international members and who are repeatedly heaping blame on Rwanda for any and all ills in the DRC while ignoring the transgressions originating from the DRC. It concluded by stating that the provocations must stop. Now, moving on, Rwanda ranks number 4 among countries globally prioritizing the preservation of endangered animals like gorillas, removed from the list of animals facing the risk of extinction. Now, today, the number of gorillas has doubled in Volcanoes National Park.
Across the country, some of the elder residents in the hills of the country say that there are some of the animal species that have become extinct because of human activities. We used to see animals like hyenas when we were young, which is different from now. Quails are also few. In these swamps, we only find buffaloes and chivets.
We no longer see monkeys and hyenas in this forest.
There used to be hyenas and chivets and other species extincted. In the United Nations Biodiversity Conference that took place in Montreal, Canada, in December this year, Rwanda and Uganda were named in the 4 countries that strengthened the preservation of the biodiversity in the mountainous regions, including volcanoes, where gorillas' population doubled. Previously, gorillas were on the list of animals with high risks of extinction due to human activities, as explained by environmental expert Dr. Abias Maniragaba. There were few of them remaining, and gorillas used to be known as animals about to be extinct. And it is no longer the case. Now gorillas are animals well preserved and are being productive. There were also animals that misplaced and the government paid for them to be back, including lions, rhinos, and others who were introduced back for a continued interaction in the ecosystem. In the 18th Kwitizina, a ceremony that started in 2005, the Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente appreciated partnership in preserving the Volcanoes Park that contributes highly the country's economy, and there is a plan of extending it. The government of Rwanda continues to emphasize the citizens, especially residents of mountainous regions, to understand that it is not only the country's property but also theirs. And I'm glad to inform you that there's a project of extending the park, as you also know, and it is a project that you will all play part in accordance to the importance of tourism that we have been saying. Other countries on the top include Kyrgyzstan, where snow leopards were reintroduced, and Serbia, where found animals like European ground squirrel. Globally, there are more than 1 million biodiversity species risking to extinct due to human activities. In the said UN Biodiversity Conference, countries agreed to preserve 1 billion hectares of land for the prevention of the extinction. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince. Now, Masaka Hospital in Kigali City is set to upgrade occupation capacity to more than 800 patient beds. This was announced on Wednesday by the Ministry of Health during the farewell ceremony for Chinese medical specialists who practiced at Masaka and Chibungo Hospital. Take a look. The Masaka District Hospital is set to be one of the biggest in the region and a timely response to the existing infrastructure gap, says the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health.
We are now seeing the Masaka District Hospital being upgraded. Your Excellency Ambassador, you mentioned about it. The hospital we are looking at there is going to be one of the biggest in the region, and actually is going to even be in Rwanda a high university teaching hospital. Today, which we don't have many today. And the ones that we have limited capacity in terms of number of beds, as well as number of operating theaters and the ICU beds. So the hospital that we are looking at there is actually going to become a very timely response to our existing gap in terms of medical infrastructure in Kigali and in Rwanda in general.
The Chinese ambassador to Rwanda says that the cooperation between his country and Rwanda in the health sector will continue to expand.
We would like to advance the cooperation in health. There are a lot of work to be done in the future. For example, we continue to dispatch the medical team to Rwanda and to help build the hospitals in Rwanda and for the capacity training in the doctors. And there are a lot of other projects we are exchanging with our Rwanda friends. For example, in the fighting against the COVID and some other disease prevention.
Chinese medical specialists who have been in Rwanda for now a year appreciate the hospitality they have received in the country and believe that this collaboration will further deepen.
The patient always feel grateful or graceful for our treatments and consultations, and they never complain about us. So I think it's really a compliment, and it's really a honor for us to treat and work with the medical staff here. And we think we can do more even with the new team. We hope they can do more and more about the cooperations and more things and more actions or treatments or anything else to deepen the cooperation between the two countries.
Chinese medical specialists who completed their work in Rwanda will be replaced by 10 others who will be practicing in Masaka Hospital and 5 more set to work at Chibungo Hospital. Collaboration is a catalyst for progress. We now move on to education matters. Some members of Mwalimu Sacco say that they used to face many challenges traveling long distances to collect money, but they can now easily access it thanks to technology. Jessica Agasalo brings us this report.
In 2019, the Mwalimu Sacco launched mobile banking technology services, which teachers believe helped them during the COVID-19 pandemic since they were not allowed to leave their home. Currently, teachers and head of institution are enjoying other services that have been enhanced by technology, including those of borrowing loans without having to queue at the SACCO branches, as well as withdrawing their money wherever they are. Such things make them believe they are going to work better and improve the quality of education. There were some difficult problems, especially as a teacher, leaving the student alone, taking a trip and the bus fare, which was sometimes difficult, such as finding the transport means, was hard, as well as arriving at the branch and you find that there is a long queue.
It is going to make our work easier as we take care of our daily work. Therefore, we are going to improve ourselves enough. Also, as a teacher, avoid mistakes in our work. It will help us as head of institutions in tax declaration. It will help us in getting loans. You see, this mobile banking product help us a lot. It will also help us in paying the contractors.
The Director General of Umwalimu Sacco, Uwambaje Laurence, confirms that after seeing the challenge teacher and head institution faces in accessing financial services, they decided to use technology to facilitate them.
After
COVID-19 pandemic, that is when we realized it is also possible for all other loans that require uploading documents. You can start them over the phone, where the member will apply through the system on our portal on the website and apply for the loan he wants, and it will show him the type of loan he can take. He chooses what he wants and then they tell him the requirement and upload it. We immediately see it and immediately give him the notification that his request has been accepted, so he can go to the branch only when he comes to sign the loan agreement to receive the money. The Teachers Cooperative SACCO has given loan amounting to 137 million in the year of 2022. So far, this institution has 122,000 members all over the country. Jessica Agasaro, RTV News.
Thank you, Jessica. Now, residents who are burdened by public smoking are concerned about suffering from related diseases. Now, the Rwanda National Police has urged smokers to avoid smoking in public because it can have a negative effect on their health as well as the health of those around them. Jessica Agasaro continues.
Most people who go to public places says that they are bothered by the smokers who blow their smoke in their face. Some of the people we met in Nyabugogo, where people come from different parts of the country, request that smoking in public should be banned. It can be the cause of different respiratory diseases.
Smoking is dangerous because when someone is smoking next to you, it can suffocate you. Which is why I think if someone wants to smoke, should go on the side instead of smoking in public.
Usually, someone who is smoking should go smoke in a place where there is no people. Personally, the smoke kills me. You would think that I am smoking it. Really, it is not a good thing to smoke in public. Some smokers also criticize the habit of smoking in public, asking those who do it to stop it.
In general, it is a big problem to smoke in public. You have to go and smoke from the side because you are the one who will be killed alone.
Rwanda police spokesperson CP Jean Bosco Kabera says that it is not appropriate for people who smoke to smoke in public.
First of all, there are regulations for the Ministry of Health in 2013 that prohibit people from smoking in public. But they also ask people who have various activities and in public places to pull up signs that prohibit people from smoking. So it is understood that if there are people who smoke in public, there are regulations that prohibit them. The tobacco you smoke affects the place where you smoke it from and the people around you, and they can all be affected by that smoke, which is why I think those people prohibited smoking in public should also create punishment.
Reminding people who smoke that doing it in public can be punished. Health experts says that smoking is harmful to health, and the manufacturing industries also writes about it on its packaging. But the other side of people who are smokers, they ask that there should be always a smoking area in most places, because there are places you go to and there's no smoking area. Jessica Agasaro, RTV News.
Now, moving on, officials from the Catholic Church in Cyangugu decided to advocate for the 400 sex workers who joined them for Christmas celebrations. That was after they expressed their desire to transition out of the profession, despite setbacks that come with change. Precious Kirezi reports.
20 years into the profession, a sex worker from Nyamasheke has decided to leave that chapter of her life behind, and after having 3 children with different fathers, she settled down with her husband. I joined a saving group, but I make my purchases using funds exclusive to that arrangement. I bought a knitting machine and learned how to knit, and I now have 3 machines. I am currently representing the sex workers in Nyamasheke, and we intend to reduce the number of people indulging in such acts. It's not an ideal way to make a living, and it tends to create more problems than it solves. We don't know the fathers of our children, and that, along with the children themselves, can be problematic. Approximately 400 people from the districts of Rusizi and Nyamasheke honored an invitation from the Bishop of Cyangugu Diocese, who intended to celebrate Christmas with them and share a light that could potentially be the way out of fornication.
May the light from the Lord that led people to Christ guide you as well. May the Almighty light up your heart and fill you with joy.
The bishop created a safe space for them to open up. One of our biggest challenges is that our income brackets don't afford our children a reliable education, and we don't expect them to make it to secondary school, but vocational training would go a long way if they could access it. These discussions were being conducted in the presence of district officials from both Nyamasheke and Rusizi, where the former's officials said they would update their logistics, and the latter's officials expressed their intention to get the sex workers other employment.
We want to get them together in cooperatives to foster vocation trainings that will help them to earn an income.
There is no concrete number of sex workers in both districts. However, Rusizi has approximately 1,000 and Nyamasheke is a close match. Precious Chidezi, RTV News.
Refreshing. Thank you, Precious, for that report. Now, on Wednesday, the National Council of Persons with Disabilities officially published the National Policy on Disability that was approved back in 2021 and requests all concerned parties to effectively implement it. Prince Manzi with more.
The National Council of Persons with Disabilities convened discussions with the Ministries of Public Service and Labour, Health, Local Government, Justice, Agriculture and Animal Resources, local administrations and public entities to share ideas on the proper implementation of laws and regulations established for the development of lives of people with disabilities. Participants call for the partnership and collaboration in the implementation of the national policy on disability. We appreciate teams of people with disabilities. As you know, they participated in the World Cup. And in teams of people without disabilities, none has participated.
This new strategy is important and good, but we have to improve it in terms of planning and monitoring to know where to stress in planning as well as reporting.
We can see that in Rwanda, this system is going to be implemented, but what about the international scale? For these system devices manufactured outside the country to be imported, but most importantly, solving the issue we have and for people with disabilities to be able to use them. The President of the National Council of Persons with Disabilities, Olivia Mbabazi, urges institutions concerned to make the implementation of this policy their own and requests for an inclusive gender budget statement for its better implementation.
We want them to own this policy, and they feel that they are responsible for its implementation. Our suggestion is that the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning should emphasize or put in place an inclusive gender budget statement so that even persons with disabilities activities can be included so that implementation can be well in all sectors.
The National Policy on Disability was approved in May 2021 with the purpose of enlightening institutions and individuals on how to implement and align with the laws protecting people with disabilities. This policy elaborates on the nature of the issue of disability, demonstrates the role of institutions in handling it in accordance to the laws and principles of the country, as well as international agreements that Rwanda signed. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
Always a joy bringing you the latest here in Rwanda and of course beyond. I am Isabel Masoz. I don't do this alone. On behalf of the entire team here at RTV that make this happen, thanks for watching.